Hey, ladies and gents, it's Sam back, and we are doing the review on the La-5 La-5. La-5 was a design bureau in the during World War II in Russia. The main designer, I guess you would call him, was Vladimir Gorbanov. He was the mastermind and the creator of the LA or the Lag 3 and the Lag 1, of course. But this aircraft, the Lag 3, was not well received. It turned out to be somewhat of a failure with the inline engine and whatnot. It didn't meet its expectations. So Gorbanov kind of fell out of favor with Stalin. This would have been about 1941, and to remedy the problems that the Lag 3 had, Gorbanov decided that he was going to continue refining and making the Lag 3 a better aircraft. So he did this unofficially. So in the winter of 1941 and 1942, he kind of sequestered himself in a shack alongside of one of the airfields and began work on the Lag 3 in trying to turn it into the fighter that he wanted. That was far more effective than what he ended up being. Like I said, he fell out of favor with Stalin, so all Lag 3 production was stopped, and it turned over to the Yak 1 and the Yak 7s. Yakovlev at the time, of course, was kind of Stalin's golden boy, and he got pretty much anything he wanted. However, Gorbanov decided that, well, you know what, this is a good design. This plane can be better. So he went off, unofficially did it himself, and what he did was he took the Radial engine out of a light bomber reconnaissance aircraft, and he grafted it into the front of his Lag 3. The Lag 3, of course, has an inline engine. This has a very large radial engine. So by grafting this engine into this airframe, he produced probably one of the best, and arguably the best, fighter for at least the mid part of World War II. By April, it was test flown, April 1942, and the Air Force test pilot at the time declared it better than the current versions of the Yak, specifically the Yak 7. So Stalin heard this come out. They looked at the plane. It was like, wow, this thing is, this is going to work. So by July, he put this prototype, or I shouldn't say the prototype, the La-5 into full-scale production. What they found out was this aircraft, at below roughly 10,000 feet, about 3,000 meters and down, this could meet any German aircraft, literally toe for toe. I mean, it was, they were on equal footing with the German aircraft. Anything above that, not so much, but below that, and considering most of the time, most of the fighting on the Eastern Front was done at below that 10,000 feet or 3,000 meters, the Russians finally had an aircraft that was on equal footing with the Germans' high-performance war machines. So, with that said, they put it in a large-scale production. I think by the end of the war, they produced just shy of 10,000 of these La-5s. They were used quite extensively after World War II in the Soviet satellite countries. I know Czechoslovakia received a large number of them. Of course, they did have their shortcomings. The aircraft had a tendency to leak gas fumes into the cockpit. It had problems with its radiators. Anything above, I think they said 380 kilometers an hour, they could not open the canopy. And the thing with the with the gas fumes, the pilots oftentimes flew this aircraft with the canopy open. obviously because of the how bad the fumes would get. So yeah, it did have its problems, but for all in all, below 10,000 feet, 3,000 meters roughly, this was Russia's kind of go-to aircraft. It performed very well. However, it was also the most shot down aircraft in the Russian Air Force. I don't know if it was just because of the sheer numbers used. I would imagine it probably had a lot to do with it. Which is, I went after reading a little bit more of it. Surprising enough, for like producing almost 10,000 of these aircraft, there's actually only one surviving example of this aircraft, and it is actually a wreck that is held in a museum in the United States, I believe, in somewhere in Maryland. This is the only example left of this fighter is that wreck. So yeah, kind of an interesting history of this aircraft. Now I'm doing this video because I personally I think this is one of the more underrated aircraft at Tier 6. Yeah, you're always going to see your Spitfires, you're going to see your Zeros, you're going to see your German Spits, you're going to see you're going to see all this kind of stuff. But this aircraft, for some reason, really works for me. I'm not sure why. But yeah, for the most part, I think it's a very underrated aircraft, and I think it has a lot to do with its armament. I mean, obviously, maneuverability, airspeed, and altitude performance. Even the gun armament, numbers-wise, isn't that great. It's not the fastest. It's not the most maneuverable, and it certainly doesn't have the best altitude performance. But it's not bad in all those categories. So it just seems to work. What we get in game is, of course, these three 20mm B-20s with an effective firing range of 700 meters. That's pretty fantastic, actually, and that's, I kind of really think what really makes the difference in this aircraft is the fact that it has such relatively long range at 700 meters, and you get 3 of them. They're also mounted relatively close. You got 2 in the cowling and 1 firing down the hub. So there really isn't much dispersion on this grouping right here. So which to me seems like it makes a really big difference, because it seems like more times than not these 320s are usually hitting at the same time. So yeah, in my opinion, this is probably one of the most underrated Tier 6s. I have a blast in it. Not the best altitude, not the best turner, not the fastest. I get that. But for some reason, this whole package with its maneuverability, airspeed, and gun armament just seems to work out pretty well. I usually fly with, obviously your standard consumables. Have gyro improved inflector sight 1 on, and then of course lightweight airframe and control surface adjustment. Like I said, maneuverability wise, this is probably its strongest point. Altitude performance is just not there. Airspeed still kind of not there. But so yeah, I tend to work on the maneuverability part of it. For the pilot, I use Marksman 1. Probably going to stick either Marksman 2 into it, or something helps with it to help with this maneuverability. I've already taken the pilot out of this one and moved it up already. So yeah, I'm kind of starting out fresh. But as you see, I've played it. I have 4 little stars on the side of it. I do play it quite often. I love the Ki-61, and of course you have your other famous planes at Tier 6. But this plane, for some reason, seems to work for me. And I don't know why. And I just think it's really an underrated plane, because you don't really see a whole lot of them flying around. At least human pilots aren't flying these aircraft, which is, in my opinion, is kind of like, yeah, I mean, I get it, but this is, actually a pretty nice plane, a very good plane in my opinion. Or at least when I play it, it seems like that. But I could be just fucking crazy. I don't know. So, with that said, I'm going to bring up the gameplay for you in the La-5, trying to give you kind of an idea what this thing's all about. Alright guys, back with the first game in the La-5, and we have a 5 objective map here, 1 center objective, a couple command centers, an airfield, and of course garrison and center. And I'm heading over here to the command center, so I'm going to start boosting up here, try to get some altitude in case I have to deal with some heavy fighters. So, not the best altitude performance, not the best boosts, not the best speed, but it all seems to work in this little package. I have no idea why. I really think it has to do with the 320s that it carries. Of course, they're not the longest range 20s in the game. They're the BF-19s, I do believe, have the longer range, but they do have a pretty nice rate of fire and a nice cooldown. And I think that's kind of what it makes a big difference. And of course, the fact that they're grouped up like they are, you get a lot. It seems like you get a lot of 20 millimeter hits. That's just my opinion. Like it, don't like it, whatever. I'm going to drop down in here. I got the boomerangs coming up here. Of course, they're trying to climb to try to intercept these heavies, and I'm going to pick them off as I come in here. So pick up the first one at about 700 meters. There we go. And yeah, got the boomerang, knock him out. Pick up the next one, put a couple shells into him. Not quite get him, a little too fast. Pull back around and pick him up here from the rear. There we go. Slam some more shells into him. Almost got the objective turn. This boomerang's going to come at me head on. He loses most of his life as he does that. And come back around, finish him off. We turn the objective. So, heading for the center garrison. We probably should have waited. I probably should have waited to turn this before. We probably should have turned the airfield before, so that would have been the place where the bombers will go when the command center from the other side is taken. But hindsight's 2020. So heading towards center, they've taken the center garrison, and you're going to know there is a player in this game that's going to cause me. He's going to talk shit for a good chunk of the game. I will warn you. I shoot him down every fucking chance I get, just because he's annoying. I don't actually even talk to him, but he does blabble quite a bit during the game. So back down, pick up my first target here, which is probably the P-47 or the Tornado. Pick up the Tornado coming at me. We'll put a couple shells into him. I'm not going to go head on with him for too long. I can outturn him, and of course, for most of the part, I have better altitude performance than he does. Like I said, when I was talking about earlier with the 320s, you can see how well they stay grouped, and I think that's why this thing is so much more effective for the most part here. So go on head on the Ki-61, put a nice big burst into him, take off most of his health, all but 3. He goes up and over, comes back down. Yeah, finish him off. Gil Piet, I guess. Pick up the P-51A going through. Nope. And I got me an I-210. So he's not happy, and this is kind of where it starts the whole schmack talking. So if you want to watch some humorous commentary, we'll watch the left-hand side of the screen here. Pick up the A6M M5, knock him down, and see if I can get up to the A26B. This isn't really a great bomber hunter when it comes to actually dealing with these kind of bombers. However, they do work. It does work pretty well against bomber flights, but these high-flying bombers, you just don't really have the altitude or the boost to kind of stay up that high. So come back around, see if I can pick up the P-51A, and I'm kind of right at the point where, with the altitude performance on this thing, that you start to kind of flounder around a little bit. Come back around here and see if I can pick him up. I'm trying not to shoot my own plane, but yeah, he gets in the way. He might have taken his shell. So we've cleaned the center objective, and we're up 3-2 right now. And I got the Ki-61 coming back in again. And yeah, there we go. So we put a couple shells into him. Ooh, and it doesn't take long with those 320s when they hit. They just kind of rip through planes. So drop back down here, looking at the Tornado. He's obviously running away, so I'm not going to even try to really pursue him. About that time I know is when the P-47's coming back. Still kind of looking around here to see what I should possibly going at next. B-47B's dropping. I'm at 1,800 meters. I really don't want to drop down too much. As I noticed, the objective over here, they are working it pretty hard. So I thought, well, I'm going to fly over here and give them a little bit of help and see what happens here. It's also the time when I got a little too greedy here, and I started looking at myself going, ooh, there's a bunch of red planes over here shooting at bombers. Let's see what I can do. We're going to come across in here. We got to pick up the F4U1. He's a human pilot, and he goes head-to-head with the Tornado and loses. So that leaves me with the A6MB, or A6M5. Put some shells into him. Almost finish him off. Yeah, in the background we come. He is actually on fire. There goes the Ki-61, and as much as I wanted to shoot him down again, I got into too much of a turn here. I was thinking to myself, yeah, I'm going to go kill him, but I decided better not here. So the A6M is on my tail. And back around. Come on, come on, come on, come on, come on. There we go. Finally get in around behind him. Head to head, finish him off. And now it's me against, there's a fair amount of red planes here. Oh, there he is, KI-61, he's coming back through. I don't know if at this point he was just flying around or doing what, but you know what, he's here, I'm going to shoot him down. So pick up the heavy fighter, and yeah, where are you going, buddy? And it looks like to be an ME-410, which is always kind of a pain. He comes through, and what do I got down here? Oh, there's Mr. Tornado. Pull back down on the Tornado. And we're going to see if we can finish him off. Apparently I'm sponsored. If anybody's sponsoring me, let me know and tell me where you're sending the money, because I'm not getting it. Okay? It's pretty upsetting if I'm sponsored. Back down. Fucking pick up the XP50 and see if I can finish him off. Nope, can't get it. Barely, he's not happy that, yeah, standard. So, I was going to die one way or another, because Squall Line's coming up, I needed to die. So I dropped down. The A6M5 was kind enough to finish me off before I crashed into the ground. So yeah, I'm going to spawn back over there. And it happens to be about that time when a bomber flight comes in. And I don't want to lose this objective. It is full health, so I really only need to knock down one bomber to keep this objective rolling. I don't have time for two, but if I can get one, that means we keep the objective, and it keeps the points rolling for one more bomber flight. Back around here, almost finished him off in the first pass. Let's see here, there we go. Finish off the first bomber here. We'll see if we can maybe get three. They're already dropping their bombs. They're blinking, so there wasn't much chance. He's probably going to drop. Yep. So now it's no point in pursuing them without losing a bunch of HP. So they're going to drop their bombs on it, which is fine. Like I said, that dropping the bombs is not going to lose me the objective, but it's going to let it build points, at least until the next bomber formation comes in. So back to center I go. We need some objectives here, so I'm trying to get a little bit of altitude to deal with some of these guys. I got a bullfighter. Here comes a Tornado. Milk him. Yeah, baby. He's not hitting anything, so fuck him. I'm just going to go head on. Finish him off. And I turned the objective almost halfway back, so I only have to get one more kill. Bullfighter, however, you're a different story. Back around, up and over. And we come back down. There's the KI-61 again. He is running. I thought I might lose him outside the objective, but he was kind enough to pull up and come back into the objective, which lets me finish him off. So, got the center objective back, so now we're still up 3-2. We had picked up the other command center, and then the other command center was actually in a point of being lost, which was kind of nice because that was the one closest to our respawn. So got the bombers coming through here, and I thought, well, you know what, since I'm here, I might as well go knock off a few more, some more damage here. I'm pretty sure I wasn't going to be able to kill enough to stop the objective, but hey, that's alright. And here we go. Yeah, let's just pick up some more combat points. Didn't quite get him. Back around we go. Yeah, I'm going to start looking for my balls here shortly, sir. I know there's somewhere here. I've been married for a long time, but I'm almost positive I'll eventually find him. This guy is so fucking salty. So hopefully this kind of gives you an idea about this plane. Not the best not the best speed, not the best performance, altitude performance, not the best turn rate, but those guns make up for a lot. And you get it into the right situations, it can perform quite well. Like I said, one of my favorite planes to play at this tier, and I think it's a very underrated plane. So I'm going to have one more game for you guys to check out here. I'll drop down here on the altitude. Let's see if I can finish him off, but don't get the last of it. So I got one more video for you guys to check out, kind of give you an idea what this thing's about. Alright, back with the second video. This is a 3 objective map, two military bases, and of course the center objective. So, start climbing, getting ready for if we run into any heavy fighters over here. Got 2 heavy fighters with me, and assorted other, well, one fighter and 1 GA. So, 2 heavies, 2 fighters and 1 GA. Let's see if we can take this this objective here to the bottom. So pick up the P-38Fs. So there's going to be at least 2 of them. He's going up. And I'm already at, like I said, about 1,900 meters. So yeah, it's going to be not much of a chance for me to really deal with these guys at altitude. But it's better than being, jumped on. And right there, like I said, with those 320s, they always seem to be relatively close. The dispersion is not very much. And I think that's really what makes this plane, in my opinion, pretty effective here. So ME-410 goes by, and I thought I'd follow him down here, but I got a Spitfire instead. Let's see if I can put some shells into him. Pick up some, there we go. Pick up the Spitfire 5. He's a human. Put a bunch of shells into him. Yeah, there we go. And what is he going to do? He's going up after that. He doesn't seem to be carrying much, so I'm going to finish him off. That leaves me with the P-38F I didn't finish off in the last round. Put some boost on here, see if I can finish him off. Oh, so close. Finish him off, and I still haven't got the objective turning blue yet. So that leaves me with the Yak 9. There you are, buddy. See if I can finish him off quick here and start turning it back blue at least a little bit. Finish him off, and that leaves us with 1 more heavy fighter, and the P-51A picks him up. However, now that we have nothing else to shoot at, my GA had crashed, and my 2 heavy fighters had also got shot down. It was kind of a clusterfuck. So, wiggle, jiggle, yeah, do whatever I gotta do. Need to get out of this objective at least until they respawn or the red players come back. I'm not leaving this. I've did this too many times, like, well, you know what, hopefully somebody shows up here to do it, and it never gets done. So I'm just going to sit back here a little bit and wait. We've got the center objective here, so we're already building objective points. So I'm going to wait here until at least something shows up here, and that's about time. Of course, Mr. Spitfire comes back. Fabio Rodriguez Reis. He's coming back to center here, and he wants to go head-to-head with a 3 20mm cannons on his Spitfire. He's got a better maneuverability, but you know what? 320s always trump whatever you're carrying. Spitfire. So, knock him out. He was unfortunately outside of the objective. I wasn't going to wait till he got back in there. I probably would have lost that turn fight. So, got the P-38 above me. He's up there trying to shoot down the DO-17M. That's when about the time he starts getting into range of these 20s. Yeah, there they are. And you, like I said earlier, the dispersion on here, the fact that they're so grouped up in the nose, they seem like most of the time all 3 of them are hitting. So, pick up the objective. We're up 2 to 0, and we're heading back to the center. Pick up the P-38J coming up through here, and not going to go head-to-head with him. However, yeah, we're going to turn around here and pick him up going the other way. Pick up the P-38J, finish him off, and now it's time to get back to this beautiful center buffet. Yeah, we're going to see what's over here. So we got the ME-410, a little bit of this down below. We got a Yak 9 down there, and kind of looking for things that are about my height. It's about the time I pick up the Mosquito coming in here. Looks like the Yak 9 is going to get wrecked. Maybe I'll get a couple shots into him before he dies. Ooh, lucky enough I did pick him up, finish him off with the Mosquito coming around here. Barnabas, he is too interested, which gives me his big fat silhouette and lets me put in a bunch of cannon shells to him. Round we go. Oh, there we go. Finish off the Mosquito, and I've cleared the center, and now we're just going to sit here and kind of wait to see what's going to happen. There's a bunch of red out there, and it seems for the most part, most everybody's steaming out there. The other objective hasn't really been contested too much, and I could go over there, but I also want to rack up a score. Simply getting all 3 objectives right off the bat, yeah, you're probably going to win, but it doesn't really be much for XP and all that. So here, pick up the DO-17M, and I'm really about 400 meters from the absolute red line of this aircraft, trying to kill him. So I'm not going to try too much harder. to keep going up there. Pick up the P-51, finish him off. Pick up the ME-410. There you are. Oh, wreckage, wreckage, wreckage. Starts knocking numbers off of him. They just brought out it's almost like they bought a brand new pan of snow crab legs out for me at the buffet. Finish him off, and now I got a blotch of the blood clot of red. Pick up Barnabas going through again in the mosquito. I was going to drop down on him, but you know what? I'm already at this altitude, so I'm going to try to stay up here as much as I can. F4U1 comes in here, and yeah, finish him off, and I get smacked by the Yak 9. It happens, right? That's alright. We have the center objective, so I can come in here in about 10 seconds and be right on top of the action. So, hit the battle button, bring it back into the center, and I'm start looking for targets right off the bat. Up we go, pick up the Tornado. Oh, there you are, Roland. Put a nice burst into the Tornado. He is a somewhat dangerous plane. Somewhat. Find the Yak 9, you fuck. We're going to kill you before you decide to try to one-shot some more planes. Pick up the P-51A going through here. Yeah, there we go. Put a few shells into the P-51A. Oh, so now we've got air supremacy. And now it looks like the game is going to be over here pretty quick here, so I'm going to pick up the Mosquito. He was kind enough to, of course, turn for me and give me that nice big broadside. Turn around. Got the Mustang 1A, who could be a threat to me. He's got better altitude performance, better speed, and for the most part, better guns than I do. So I don't really want to deal with him if I don't have to. F4U1. Nope. Oh, but we got a big, fat, tasty bomber that is not really very high. So pick up the DOM and finish him off. So nice game, Wing Legend, and all that kind of stuff. Hope you guys enjoyed the video, and thanks for watching.